This week's article critique by Team Alpha Tampa, consisting of Melo Bajogejo, Samuel Kellett, and Pedro Wagner, will analyze article number 2, Skills of an Effective Administrator by Robert L. Katz. This article discusses the new theory about how to develop, select, and position administrators not based on the characteristics or traits that they show as a human being, but more so on 3 developable skills which can be applied at each level of administration. In this section, we'll speak to the 3 developable skills of an administrator. But first, we must define what an administrator does. He is one who directs the activities of other people and undertakes the responsibility for achieving certain objectives through these efforts. These 3 developable skills include technical skill, human skill, and conceptual skill. The first of these 3 developable skills is the technical one. This is the understanding of and proficiency in a specific kind of activity involving methods, techniques, and procedures. The examples given in the article of technical skills include that of a surgeon, musician, accountant, or engineer. These are all highly specialized. However, these can also include that of working on an assembly line. It is said that these skills are required of the greatest number of people, as this is the most concrete and largely trained skill of all 3. The author does not discuss the technical skill in as much detail as the others, although we do feel as if this is the base for all other skills to be developed from. The human skill is the executive's ability to work effectively as a group member and to build cooperative effort within the team he builds. The human skill is demonstrated in the way that an administrator effectively communicates and interacts with those around him. The strongest human skills are displayed when an administrator can accept and understand the differing viewpoints and perceptions of the colleagues around him. The development of the human skill comes through self-awareness of one's own perceptions of certain activities and situations in which they interact and communicate with others. This can be improved through role-playing games and case scenarios. The conceptual skill is the ability to see the enterprise as a whole, including the recognition of how various functions of the organization depend on one another and how changes in any one part affect all the others. It extends to visualizing relationships and perceiving the significant elements in any one situation. The conceptual skill can be seen most at the very top of an organization in the form of a CEO. In this article, it is given the most importance. However, as a group, we feel like it was given too much emphasis, as it says that it can determine the corporate personality. We feel like there are many other attributes that go into creating the corporate personality, not only the way that one administrator organizes the entire firm. Development of the conceptual skill can be done through the help of a superior. One-on-one coaching is one of the main ways that conceptual skills are developed. Also, job rotating and job trading helps an individual become well-rounded within an organization. It helps them to see all the aspects of an organization, not just the department that they are working in. In this section labeled Relative Importance, we will analyze how each skill is utilized at the different levels of leadership and administration. At the lower levels of administration, the importance of the technical skill is at its highest because it is focused on the physical operation. The article reads that as administration moves farther from the actual production process, that the technical skill is needed less. It then gives an example of how one organization replaced the manufacturing vice president with someone with no previous technical experience to fill in. However, this worker had been with the company for over 20 years, knowing the ins and outs of the business. This example was used to show that the human and conceptual skills could make up for the lack of technical. But as a group, we question how this would have worked if the new management had not worked in the firm or a similar industry. We believe that at lower levels, the technical groups are predominant, but a company is also built on mutual trust between levels. We believe that a situation in which new upper-level management would come into a company with no experience, which is not uncommon nowadays, can lead to distrust between upper and lower-level management, hurting the company's foundation. At every level of the organization, the human skill is key. To be an effective administrator, you must be able to communicate and lead your coworkers. It is the highest of importance at mid to low levels due to the number of connections and contacts needed in order to do your job. We believe that the example given in this section involving a conversation between a production manager and his engineer is not accurate in its purpose. It is attempting to display the need for human skills and that the production manager does not listen to the advice of the engineer. However, we do feel that the major problem in this conversation is more of a disconnect between the technical and conceptual skills, as the production manager does not take in the ability of his workers in order to plan for the future of his firm. The top level of administration shows that the need for the conceptual skill is at its highest. This is where the CEOs, COOs, and CFOs all reside, which is important because they must see the organization as a whole, not just its individual parts. The author goes on to explain that the technical skills are not as highly needed at the top level, which we agree upon for the most part and came up with an example. For example, golf coaches do not necessarily need to be able to swing perfectly or do it better than their players. However, coaches do need to be able to visualize their players' game as a whole and have the conceptual skill to work on each detail of the player's game being focused on the overall result. The question comes into play as to how these leaders got to the top level without first having the technical skill. We believe that at least a basic understanding of the lower level activities allows the top level administration to effectively create an agenda and communicate the company's needs as a whole to all members of the organization. Overall, as a team, we thought that the author did a good job in laying the article out. It did become repetitive in sections which we thought could be combined, such as putting all of the information about each individual skill into one, rather than a section on the different aspects of each. We found discord between the examples given and the explanation of each skill, such as in the example of the manager who uses his position of power to manipulate workers, while the point of the article was to highlight the conceptual skills which the manager held. We feel as if the justification for many of the examples are either misleading or incorrect altogether. We also question the idea of leaders being manufactured through concepts or ideas rather than real working experience, which is alluded to in the article. The definitions and key facts, though, are grounded in reason, making this article a great gateway to opening up discussion on this new theory of developing administrative leaders in the workplace. From Team Alpha Tampa and I, we thank you for listening to our article critique. Have a great day.